You're born with talent. You know, it's like there's certain things that you just do naturally. You were gifted with a talent and you have it. But skill is acquired through discipline. And, you know, I've never seen myself as particularly talented. Where I excel is I'm willing to die in the process of acquiring skill, right? When I look at people and I see things, I don't feel like I can't. Whether or not I will is something different, but I don't ever feel like I can't.
My number one message to entrepreneurs, and I teach today, is never pursue entrepreneurship for the greed of money. It has nothing to do with it at all. The whole reason to be an entrepreneur is the pursuit of freedom. That's why you do it. You do it because you want to be free one day to do whatever you like. I'm here because I want to be here. I don't have to be here. I don't even have to ever listen to a phone call again if I don't want to. That's not what I want to do. I enjoy spending my time doing the things that I want to do.
You can love someone and still choose to say goodbye to them. You can miss a person every day and still be glad that they're no longer in your life.
There's no losing, only learning. There's no failure, only opportunities. And there's no problems, only solutions. So to me, what failure is the mother of all success. If it wasn't for Michael Jordan getting cut from his 9th grade basketball team, he wouldn't have became Michael Jordan. You got people like Walt Disney, who got fired, if I'm not mistaken, from a newspaper saying he had no imagination. You know that all they can do is learn and come back bigger, better, stronger, because all it's gonna do is lead you in the right direction. See, if you're always winning, then you don't really understand what it is to win.
Question for yourself. What is impossible? Never accept the limitations of someone else. Somebody told you that it's impossible. Don't even try. Give up before you even fucking try it for yourself. Never accept the goddamn limitations that someone else has placed upon you. Decide for your fucking self what is your limitation. Try it, you son of a bitch. Try it for your fucking self. Then that is the only fucking way to know if you can or can't do something.
This is the gap when we start. This is the gap as you grow. Notice how you grow and they don't. So how do you close the gap? You gotta come back down. When you come back down, you lose. So you gotta keep going up. That's why closing that gap gotta be them catching up to you. And if they don't catch up, you gotta leave them behind. Because you getting to the point now where you gotta start cutting out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you can't look back when you cut them out. Because if they meant to be there, they're gonna be there.
There will be times when you seemingly face insurmountable obstacles. But that's when you dig deep into your soul for the courage and the fortitude to keep going and to never forget that despite life's detours, you are destined for greatness.
Oh, relationships are tough. No, they're not. They're only tough when one person's working on it. That's right. 2 people can move a couch real easy. One person can't move it at all. Stop competing. It's not a fucking competition. Her success is your success, and your success is her success. There is no equality in a relationship. You're both there to serve. You are in the service industry, okay?
My name is Kobe Bryant. I'm 17 years old. I wasn't invited to parties or friendly gatherings on the weekend. So on Fridays and Saturdays, I would go to my rec room with my basketball and basically dribble myself to sleep. I think that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because during those lonely hours in the rec room, I discovered the hunger, the motivation, and the desire to be the best possible basketball player that I could be. It's a great feeling to know that you set a goal for yourself and you were able to reach that goal and to knock it down.
Make sure that you are talking to yourself in a way that is loving and supportive. It became clear to me at a certain point in my life, I realized that when I am in crisis, when I have quote unquote fucked up, my response is, you fucking idiot. Of course, what did you expect? If I spoke to my friends like I used to speak to myself, I would have no friends. If you do talk to yourself out loud, and I do, make sure that the words are loving and supportive and nourishing. Start the work of being your own best friend.
Winning's not loyal to you. It doesn't care about you. Winning doesn't care how sore you are. Winning doesn't care how much sleep you get. Winning doesn't care how hard you work at times. And sometimes a guy doesn't outwork you and he still wins. It isn't fair, man. Sometimes there is no justice. Winning requires all of you and then more, and it promises you nothing. It's a mastermind of creating fear and doubt in your mind. It causes setback after setback. So the question is about winning. Are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown?
Where you are now is just a reflection of your past thoughts, your past thinking. So if you want to change your future, you got to change your thoughts now and then put them into action ultimately.
No matter what you've done, you have the right to be forgiven. I don't let nobody hold me to the mistakes I made. Look, man, once God forgive me, I'm through with you. You can feel how you want to feel about me, but you can't drive your car looking in the rearview mirror. See, you got to get your eyes off the past and look at what's
20. I was a garbage man. I worked the back of the truck, 22 square blocks. That's hard. Doing movies, there's nothing that we do in the movies that's hard.
I used to deliver for United Parcel Service on the truck.
Right.
That was hard.
Yeah.
This is a joke.
Last but not least, I want to thank me. I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work. I want to thank me for having no days off. I want to thank me for never quitting. I want to thank me for always being a giver and trying to give more than I receive. I want to thank me for trying to do more right than wrong. I want to thank me for just being me at all times. Snoop Dogg, you a bad...
Einstein said that if you cannot tell your goal to a 6-year-old child and have the 6-year-old child explain it to another 6-year-old child and both of them understand it, then you don't know what your goal is yourself. So ask yourself, is your goal so clear that you could tell it to a 6-year-old child and the 6-year-old child would not only understand what the goal, but could tell you how close you are to it.
You may have arms and legs, but unless you know 3 things. Number 1, who are you and what your value is? Number 2, what is your purpose here in life? And number 3, what is your destiny when you're done here? If you don't know the answers of any of those 3 questions, you're more disabled than I.
The reason why grandmama's cooking was so good, because she didn't cook Sunday dinner, Sunday evening, she started Saturday night. She let it marinate overnight. That's why it was so good. The reason why your gift is not like all these other gifts that are so microwavable is because God's put something in you that is too great. And you got to know that what's inside of you is so great that it's taking a little bit longer because God did not call you to be microwavable.
I didn't have an easy experience. I didn't come in as a top-rated recruit. I didn't come in with the opportunity to play right away. I had to earn it. And you know what the greatest honor I've ever received as a player is? In my 4th year and my 5th year, I was named team captain. That, to this day, is the single greatest achievement I've ever had as a football player. Because the men in this room chose me to lead their team.
When you seek revenge, you destroy yourself. And that's the paradoxical conflict that we all live in. Someone has mistreated us. We want revenge, but if we take it, we hurt ourselves more. The only answer is loving kindness. And most of us don't want to hear that. It's like, I'll take my chances with revenge.
When I was born, the doctors told my parents that I would be dead within the first 24 hours of my life. 35 years later, all those doctors are dead, and I am the only doctor that remains. Never believe a prediction that doesn't empower you.
A lot of people would look at someone in my position right now and think, she's really got her shit together, you know? Like, she's really on it, like, she's got it all. And as far as, like, my personal life goes, I really have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. And I just want to say that if you're someone out there who has no idea what this next chapter is going to bring, you're not alone in that.
Only the disciplined ones are free in life. If you are in discipline, you are a slave to your moods. You are a slave to your passions. The best time to plant a tree was 25 years ago. The second and the best time is today.
God didn't promise us a problem-free life. We ain't never gonna have that. You're never gonna experience life and feel like, you know what, everything is good all the time. But there has to be something inside of you, even right now today, that decides you're gonna win no matter what. No matter what comes at you, no matter what was already said about you, no matter if you don't have your parents, no matter if you don't have family, you have to know and decide today, right now, that you are going to be one of the ones in this room that wins.
My high school English teacher, Mr. Fisk, actually paid attention one time in class. And he said, he had this beautiful quote, and it read, "Rest at the end, not in the middle." And I took that to heart. I believe there's time for resting at the end. But for me, that time is not now. I have a dream, sacrifice for it, and never ever rest in the middle.
The fact that I'm gonna die one day and that everyone around me is gonna die and no one will remember me after a certain point makes me feel so good. Like, cause I could do the best thing in the world and nobody would remember it ever, and I'll die and it won't matter, and everyone else around me will die and it won't matter. Or I could do the worst thing in the world and that won't matter because I'll die eventually. So you don't really have to worry that much.
Either you work hard for it, or you don't work hard for it. Well, me and my brother, we work hard for our stuff. It don't come easy. In life, you have to work. Either you want to be the shark of the ocean, or the fish of the ocean. And right now, we want to be the shark. Take over everything. Strength, no weakness. Power, the muscle. Have to have that mindset. So you're going to come in here and dominate.
I'm alone and look at me. There's nobody around me. Nobody likes me, man. It is what it is. Sometimes in life, people are not going to be around you to motivate you. They're not going to be around you to push you, to celebrate you, to applaud you. You got to do it on your own. That's what I'm doing right now.
First we shine the shoes, then we own the shoe shops. First we make the sandwiches, then we own the restaurants. First we clean the houses, then we own every house on the block. And then we believe in ourselves, we work hard, we take full advantage of the American dream and the opportunity. And then we end up with a Hollywood star on the block in Los Angeles. Play with it.
I'm dead, I'm in heaven, you're God. I imagine it was a big long line and you got judgment. David, congratulations, you made it to heaven, how you feel? And right now I'm a 300-pound man. You pull the paper down, it says David Goggins. I'm reading it. And it has my name, but on this paper, it says everything about you. Everything, because God knows all. 185 pounds, Navy SEAL, changed people's lives, all these amazing things. I look at God and say, God, the name is right, but what's on here is not me. He goes, it should have been you. This was the life that you were supposed to live, but you didn't try. So this is the life that you have.
I want you guys to be all in. Yeah. I want you to be all in. Yeah. That's what Coach Swinney said. Yes, sir. And the only disability tonight is a bad attitude.
You don't trust that someone's never going to betray you. You just trust that you'll be able to handle it if they do. That you'll be able to walk away. That's a massive key to it. Stop worrying about whether you can trust someone else. Maybe you can't. We don't know that. Only time will tell if you can trust somebody else. That is a pointless waste of your energy to worry about. Worry only about yourself.
One thing I learned in life, you can never bring somebody up if they don't want to go up. You can't. No matter how good you think you are, no matter how much you want to tell them, you could help them. If they don't want to go up, there's nothing you can do. 100%. But the reverse is not true. Somebody bad could bring a good person down, because the negativity in the world is much, much stronger than the positive sometimes. And the negative people can bring you down. So I stay away from negative people. I just walk away from them.
If you didn't make it in your 20s, you can make it in your 30s. And if you didn't make it in your 30s, you can make it in your 40s. And if you didn't make it in your 40s, you can make it in your 50s. And just remember Grandma Moses. She was a painter. And she didn't start painting until, I think, in her 80s. And one of the most prolific painters.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
Never
so have
too
fun.
late.
That's what it's all about.
Life is short and it's fragile. And we don't know how many birthdays we have. So just, we don't have to have a birthday to celebrate. Just celebrate life. And if you haven't told someone you love them, do it now. Do it Tell people you love them. Call your friends, text your friends, hug them, kiss them.
Losses are part of life. I've lost in kickboxing, I've lost in boxing, I've lost in life, I've lost in love, I've lost in family. Like, life is, you don't just win all the time. It's wins and losses. So you roll with the punches. Pun.
You see, if you never heal from what hurt you, you'll bleed on people who never cut you. I gotta be honest with you, when it comes to relationship pain and when it comes to heartbreak, it's a drive-through only matter. You can't go around it, you can't avoid it. The only way to get over it is to actually face it and drive through it.
High performance people fly like eagles. Eagles fly alone. Zuckerberg has no mates. Elon Musk has no mates. Steve Jobs had no mates. Bill Gates has no mates, and I can go on and on and on and on. They don't hang, they don't chill, they don't go to the Super Bowl, they don't go to the World Cup, they don't go to Wimbledon. All they do is work. I fall into that category.
Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. That's a third of your life. It ain't but 24 hours in a day. You cannot be sleep 8 hours a day. The Bible says, he who loves to sleep and the folding of hands, poverty will set upon you like a thief in the night. I'm gonna ask you one question, I'm gonna go. How many of you in here know somebody who loves to sleep? Let me ask you something. Ain't they, Poe?
Here's how you know if someone's your friend. You can tell them bad news, and they'll listen. They won't tell you why, you're stupid and why that bad thing happened to you and how something worse happened to them once and, derail the whole conversation. You can actually tell them bad news and they'll listen. This is a weirder thing. You can tell them good news and they'll help you celebrate. And that's a really good way of deciding who you should have around you.
Don't post everything you think. Don't. Just don't. If you're watching this right now, if anybody is watching this, don't post your feelings. Don't do it to yourself.
Even if I do a good job, I always wonder, how I could have done it better. I rarely celebrate anything. And just for anyone watching this that's wondering how this happened, that's really the answer. It's being so unsure how you're getting it done that you just kind of keep going in the hopes of figuring out the formula. Feeling so lucky and blessed that the fear of losing it keeps you up at night.
You got 24 hours in a day. 8 hours you sleep, and most people work a 9 to 5. So 8 hours you working. Okay, so we had 16 hours. You got breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we had 19. Take you an hour to get ready. So we had 20 hours. So you guys cannot spend 4 hours going talking about, they lying. I like this photo. They faking. Sending photos to other people. Y'all got to get focused. I'm where I'm at because I'm focused. Tunnel vision. I'm focused on what I got to do. Y'all got to have a game plan.
As soon as the car left the driveway of the school, I said, I'm moving to New York and I'm going to be an actor. And my mom paused for probably a half a second and she said, great, go do it. The only thing I ask you is in 2.5 or 3 years, if you don't have any sense that this is going to happen, you have to make me one promise. And I said, what? And she said, you got to pull yourself out because as your mother, you can't ask me to tell you to give up on your dreams. I said, that's so profound and yes, fair. Cut to 2.5 years later, I was like, so I'm out. This is terrible. It's so scary. And she said, it's September. Just wait it out. Just wait till the end of the year. Don't give up just yet. I was telling her to come get me. And 3 weeks later, I got the office.
Can another man say you're fired?
Absolutely.
No one can tell me that. And that's priceless to me.
But I'm here because
I don't care. You enjoy having a man be able to tell you fired? Okay, let me ask you a question. So you being selfish. Do you think your son enjoys you calling somebody else a boss? Don't you think your son would rather wake up with you and you could pick him up from school instead of having to do a 9 to 5? Don't you think? Yeah, all right, but don't you have to wake up at 4 in the morning? Don't you think your son would love if his name was up there, Dash, or whatever your last name is instead of somebody else's? My pride is in my children. If that's not what you hustling for, you're selfish. You keep saying I'm worried about my kids. You worried about you.
The more valuable you are, the more you're going to make. If you don't have any skills or value to provide to the world, then why would you have any money? Why would anybody trade currency with you if you don't have anything to give? In my case, as a person, as a business guy, I'm not that valuable. I'm not the best business guy in the world. I'm not the best CEO. But the value, where my value comes from is my audience. I have a very large audience and I provide value to a lot of people. And so I'm able to make money.
I get 8 hours of sleep. I prioritize it. I am very focused on it. And for me, I need 8 hours of sleep. I think better.
I have more energy, my mood is better, all these things. And think about it, as a senior executive, you get paid to make a small number of high quality decisions. And they should just be as high quality as I can make them. Warren Buffett says he's good if he makes 3 good decisions a year.
I used to work at a car wash. I made $30 a day from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. So they basically let you know you gotta live off your tips. So you gotta really go hard. And so I used to let them know I'd do anything for you. I'll wash the car. If you leave me $20, I'll fill your tank up. If you left me with enough time, I'll put your cassettes in alphabetical order. I think that may be the small difference between the ones who really go get it and the ones who just talking.
Yeah, I have 2 rules.
Oh, okay.
Rule number 1, always have fun. Rule number 2, listen to rule number 1.
You get one life, and out that one life, you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. And never being okay with where you are, because after every level is another level, whether you realize it or not. And I always wanted to see what was past the thing that I got. I got here, but what was back there? I was never content with being here.
I gave the sport of boxing my whole life. I dedicated my whole life to the sport of boxing. All I ever wanted to do was put my family, my mother, my father, in a comfortable position. My dad is a millionaire. My mother, she's a millionaire. The investments were for my grandchildren, not just my children. You know, put them in a position. That's really what it's about. Giving back.
Like I still outwork the brokest person. In the room, I still outwork the brokest person I know. You get what I'm saying? I can get a $10 million check today. I'm gonna be the hardest working person I know the day after. A lot of the things that I buy, like the luxury things I buy, like I be too busy working to enjoy them. You get what I'm saying? I got them on standby until, you know what I'm saying? Until I feel the need to, because I don't feel like I've done half of what I'm set out to do.
Steve Jobs said, when you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way that it is, and that your life is to live your life inside the world and try not to get in too much trouble and maybe get an education and get a job and make some money and have a family. But life can be a lot broader than that when you realize one simple thing, and that is that everything around us that we call life was made up by people that are no smarter than you.
Life's not easy. Life is not easy. It is not. Don't try to make it that way. Life's not fair. It never was. It isn't now, and it won't ever be. Do not fall into the trap, the entitlement trap, of feeling like you're a victim. You are not. Get over it and get on with it. And yes, most things are more rewarding when you break a sweat to get them.
The world might say you are not allowed to yet. I waited a long time out in the world before I gave myself permission to fail. Please, don't even bother asking. Don't bother telling the world you are ready. Show it. Do it. Ever tried? Ever failed? No matter. Try again. Fail again. Fail better.
Facebook wasn't the first thing I built. I also built chat systems and games, study tools and music players, and I'm not alone. J.K. Rowling got rejected 12 times before she finally wrote and published Harry Potter. Even Beyoncé had to make hundreds of songs to get Halo. The greatest successes come from having the freedom to fail.
I know that I'm example. I know 100%. In the pitch and outside the pitch. So, I'm always smile. I'm happy, man. I'm blessed that I play in a fantastic club. I have a fantastic family. I have 4 kids. I'm healthy. I have everything. So the rest, it doesn't interfere on me. So I'm very, very glad.
Fear is my friend. I love fear. Fear allows me to reach my highest potential. The fear of failing is an illusion. Fear is an illusion. But we have to have desire. We have to have something that pushes us. Fear pushes us. When you don't have that feeling no more, it's over. When you don't get that fear no more, it's over.
Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, he said that good people have to get out of the bed every day and try to empty the ocean with a ladle, right?
I used to worry about a lot of stuff in my life, worry about what people think, worry about making people happy, worrying about X, Y, and Z. Now I don't. I worry about being happy now and being happy today and tomorrow, and I don't look past that because I know that I am not guaranteed to wake up in the morning, so I'm just going to be happy for now. And that's how I live, one day at a time. If I go to bed sad tonight, I think to myself, you know what, tomorrow's going to be a brand new day. I'm going to wake up happy, and I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to crack on. I'm not going to worry about anything because nothing's going to worry about me.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
I don't know what your future is, but if you are willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it.
Life is one big psychological warfare that you play on yourself. You play on yourself, man. The most important conversation I ever had is with myself. And the shit I was telling myself was so tough, it was so wrong, it was so misguided, and it started to be what you say to yourself every single day. So I started flipping this into a whole different, I started being a master of what I was scared of. I was scared of my mind. And I became literally a master of that mind. And that's what now, from now on, it sets me apart from most people.
Work like hell and advertise. You get it? Work like hell, go to bed, and early to rise, work like hell and advertise. So you work your ass off, and then you let the world know about your work. That's what it is all about. Let people know if you have a company, if you have a movie, if you do a sports. Work your ass off, but then advertise and let everyone know.
We are told that if we're beautiful, if we're skinny, if we're successful, famous, if we fit in, if everyone loves us, that we'll be happy. But that's not entirely true. But the most important journey I think all of us will go through is the journey in ourselves, to find our truth, to find who we are and what makes us happy.
Do I work hard because I'm in this position? No. I got in this position because I work hard. 30 years putting in the work, working harder than everybody else, getting up earlier than everybody else, and putting in the work. If there have been bumps in the road, absolutely. Thank God my faith and my work ethic keep me growing, getting stronger. Everybody, I challenge you, get up earlier, work harder, you will get the results, all right? You want to go places, put in the work. It ain't gonna happen on its own.
Happiness is a key because there's so many people that you see either in this industry or just in life in general that are going through their days and may have everything they could ever want, but they're not happy, you know? So you have to focus on what makes you happy and make decisions in your career, in your life that make you happy. And so I've been trying to do that, and it's working, you know, and saying no to things that are negative and saying no to things that you don't want to do, you know? So I think that's my biggest piece of advice.
There's no cut in the corner. There's no magic bullet. There's no cheat sheet. It's really simple, as complex as it may sound. Hard work. Work hard. Believe in yourself. They tell me all the time, Chico, that's another name that I got, by the way. They say, Chico, you're so lucky, Chico. I say, man, you know what's funny? Harder I work, luckier I get. It's really that simple. Short steps, long vision.
And that's what the great ones do. They marshal and harness their resources, their mental focus, their physical energy, their personal willpower, their individual gifts, their time, and they focus them on just a few things. And I want you to think about it in your life. If you stripped away all the noise, you focused on the signal, you stripped away all the complexity, you got monomaniacally concentrated on just a few things, of course you'd be brilliant at those few things.
All I have to say is that this is hard work. I've worked hard for a long time, and it's not about, it's not about winning, but what it's about is not giving up. If you have a dream, fight for it. There's a discipline for passion, and it's not about how many times you get rejected but you fall down or you're beaten up. It's about how many times you stand up and are brave and you keep on going. Thank you.
You know, it's always a little bit frustrating to me when people have a negative relationship with failure. Failure is a massive part of being able to be successful. You have to get comfortable with failure. You have to actually seek failure. Failure is where all of the lessons are. You know, when you go to the gym and you work out, you're actually seeking failure. You want to take your muscles to the point where you get to failure, because that's where the adaptation is. That's where growth is. Successful people fail a lot. They fail a whole lot more than they succeed, but they extract the lessons from the failure, and they use that, the energy, and they use the wisdom to come around to the next phase of success.
It's great if somebody has an amazing education, but I know from my own experience and my own life and other people that I work with that you don't have to have a degree to have value or to, you know, be of tremendous worth to different businesses. That street smarts, that experience, that just kind of internal, kind of creative know-how is just as valuable as a degree.
I just want to encourage people to stay away from people who tell you to stay in your lane, all right? Let me tell you something. You've got one life to live. It's your birthright to try as many different things as you want. I get criticized for, you know, trying this, doing a bit of that. I love it. It's what I'm here for. If you want to try something different in your life, go for it, all right? If you're a painter and decorator and you want to be a boxer, you try that. If you're an accountant and you want to be a ballet dancer, you go for that. That's your birthright, okay? Do your thing. Don't get pigeonholed into a box. Understand?
I meditate every day. If I don't do it, I feel like I'm constantly chasing the day, as opposed to being able to be controlled and dictate the day. Not that you're, you know, calling the shots on what comes forward, but the fact that I am set and ready for whatever may come my way. You know, I have a calmness about whatever comes my way, and a poise. And that comes from starting the morning off with meditation. For me, it's really just listening to my inner self. I mean, that's basically it. Like you sit in silence and you just allow these thoughts to come forward, and you get a chance to observe the self.
Fear will get the worst of the best of us, and peddlers of influence count on that. If fear is cultivated, it will become stronger.
When you're grateful, you can't be worried. You can't be fearful. When you're grateful, you can't be angry. And anger and fear are what screw people up most in their relationships, in their life, in their business. So I wire myself. I was saying to you that most people want to be happy, but their habit is to be worried or pissed off or frustrated or stressed. And so they've got a highway to stress and they got a dirt road to happiness. So I wire myself. I've got a highway to gratitude, which changes all your emotions.
The number one thing that's going to change your life, the only thing that will change your life, change your business, change your money, change your relationship, is you must raise your standard. Now I know that sounds boring, stupid, basic, but it's the truth. The only thing that changes our life long term is when we raise our standards.
You have to have this knowing that, okay, it may not work today, it may not work tomorrow, but this is the right thing and this is what I'm doing and this is what's feeding me. So that would be the best advice that I can give you, that knowing, just believe in what you're doing. And if you don't believe in it, then you're not doing it. You haven't figured out the thing that you do best yet. When you feel it and when you know, no one can tell you. You only have to be right once.
I think one of my greatest inspirations or things that I would feed off of basically was just obviously people not believing in the cloud of doubt that kind of I felt hung over my head and wanted to just prove everybody wrong. I wanted to make it, and I was going to make it regardless of what anybody said.
I had to learn drive. If you don't have drive, then you quit cultivating your talent. Because once you rest and once you say it's over, I've gotten to the mountaintop, then your talent starts to dwindle. That hustle
what I call hustle, is very important, because at some point you're going to be able to pull the hustle back just a little bit, and then you pick your spots. The time right now is a hustle to set things up so that in the future you're able to cut back just a little bit and just pick your spots.
My dad was a man who against the odds made it. And but he would get up at usually 5:30 in the morning, and he would say, if I get up, you're going to get up too. He would drag me to the gym. And by the way, I'm 5 years old, and he would drag me to the gym. My dad always said too that regardless of what you do in life and where you go, respect is going to be given when it's earned, and you have to go out and earn it every single day.
I can't handle not knowing. I can't handle not finding out. I don't want to not find out. The not knowing will drive me crazy. The wondering what if. Damn it. It was right there. It was right there. Why did you do that? What was I going to be embarrassed of failure? Going to be ashamed of losing? I mean, those are already two things that when I just say them, if I hear somebody else say that to me, I'm reaching out going, no, dude, fail more. No, don't be ashamed. Screw up. Find out. Find out and lose. Find out and fail rather than sit back and wonder, well, I'm not sure.
Behind every moment of adversity, there's a lesson and a blessing. You just got to hang in there to see what it is. How many of y'all had some days and you ain't think you was gonna make it? Now, you wanna know something? Your track record for surviving bad, unbearable days, your track record is 100%. See, once you understand that, you can get on with living. A lot of people, y'all be tripping yourself out. Figure it out, make something happen for yourself.
I think of myself as the greatest person that I can be. That's it. I'm not going to go out on out on a limb and say I'm the greatest this or that. I was a kid with a dream. That's it. And the people before me set the bar so high, and I was a little kid that wasn't afraid to dream as big as I could. And that's really it. Like you said, like we were talking before, I was dedicated, I was hardworking, and that put me in the shoes where I am now.
This thing, you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody else. Yes, your family supports you. Yes, your friends support you, but you're doing it for yourself at the end of the day. And you're the only one who's going out there. You gotta motivate yourself, and you gotta want it as much as everybody else on the track. So I've learned that, so it's easier now. So when people say, this season, you're saying it's not running as fast as you should, it doesn't bother me, because I've been through this already, and I know what they're gonna say all the time. But I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I can do, so.
If the lion is the king of the jungle, how can he be the king of the jungle? If he's not the biggest, the elephant is probably one of the biggest. He can't be the fastest, because that's a cheetah. He can't be the smartest. So he's not the biggest, the fastest, or the smartest. So how does a lion become the king of the jungle? His mentality. That's the only difference of a lion and an elephant.
Your lack of commitment is almost an insult to the people who believe in you. And that's what I'm trying to tell myself. I said, there's people who believe in me. So this is what I'm telling myself right now, today. There's people that believe in me. And me having this half commitment, it's not what the f*** I am. It's not what my people, it's not what the people who believe in me deserve. And I want to give back to the people who believe in me and give them that belief, and prove that belief correct. So
anticipate the wall. You're going to hit it. And in those moments, whatever you tell yourself, if you convince yourself that the difficulty you're facing is harder than everybody else's and you buy it, you will stay where you're at. But if you convince yourself that whatever wall you've hit, other people have overcome it and so can you go through that wall as well.
Look, you have to stop looking at what you don't have and what's not happening for you and start appreciating what you do actually have. Like, my man, you got on a nice watch, your hat is fresh, there's a lot of things, your family, there's a lot of things to be grateful for, and that's the only way you can climb out of a place of focusing on what you don't have, is by focusing on man, what do I have to be thankful for? And everybody got something to be thankful for. Even a homeless man, if he wanted to, he could be yo, I'm breathing today, you know what I mean? My arms work, my legs work. You can start very small, and it's a process, but that's how you can get up out of a negative space like that.
Visualize where you want to be and what you want to accomplish, and
you kind of get lost in the process of day to day, grinding it out and working, pulling on others if you have to. It's just about not losing vision and not losing sight of what you're trying to accomplish, no matter what hurdles you have to go through. So I think that kind of relates to whatever you're doing, whatever major you've chosen or what you're interested in. So for me in basketball, and it's about visualizing, whether you write it down, put it on the wall, do something, what your goals are, and get lost in the process of day-to-day grind, day-to-day getting better every single day. Asking questions, aligning yourself with people that have been through it before, that are experienced, and leaning on that advice, and just trying to outwork the next person, and that's the biggest thing.
If there is something that you feel is good, something you want to do, something that means something to you, try to do it, because I think you can only do your best work if you're doing what you want to do, and if you're doing it the way you think it should be done. So don't let idiots talk you out of something that you think is good.
Here's the truth. This is the reality, okay? Nobody's going to believe in you until you've already done it. Nobody's going to come and celebrate with you until you've already done it, all right? The work is going to come before the belief, which means you're going to have to work for a long time by yourself with no applause, with no awards, with nobody telling you good job. No one's going to believe in you in the beginning, nor should they. Be okay with that.
We're all writing a book. What's your book look like? Like your life is a book. You got a bunch of chapters in your book, but when they close that book, how good was the book? How good was your book? What was the ending to your book? All of the things that can be associated with you and your existence become a part of the chapters in your book.
Your body's a lot stronger than your brain sometimes. And you gotta catch your brain up. Your muscles will be ready to keep going. Your brain will have its limit. You know what I'm saying? And be like, I can't do no more. And then your body will follow suit. But when you can break the mental barriers, you'll notice, damn, I could do way more. I was crazy. You know what I'm saying? I had way more in me. So I think that's an example of like feeling like you can't, like you exhausted, you about to, you overwhelmed, and then being clear that, this is just how I feel to be pushing yourself more than you ever have, demanding more. That's just the natural way it feels. When you press your line and press yourself to produce more and to be better, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sure all of you have been told that you don't have what it takes and that you may not be good enough and you don't have enough people supporting you, and you're being told all of these things, but deep down it's all you want to do. You want to be a part of something great. You want to make something great. And it does more than knock the wind out of you. It crushes you when people try to tell you that you're not good enough. And it almost did for me, but there was my mom next to me, stronger than ever. And she said, the most important thing is to always trust in myself. If I'm doing something because I love it, I should do it because I love it, and I believe I can do it. Let the critics be critics, and let us just trust ourselves.
Comparison is a formula for misery. And what we do in our life is we compare ourselves to the best day and the best picture on social media that we see of somebody else. We compare ourselves at different times in our lives too. Even if you're in a relationship, comparing your relationship in its 5th year to its 5th week isn't fair to that relationship. There's different stages in our life. So comparison is a pathway. There's pathways to happiness, and there's pathways that lead us to unhappiness. One of those for sure is comparison, and it's an ego thing oftentimes with us. We're always trying to one-up things in our life. It's a matter, I think, really of being more present in the moment in your life and saying, I deserve to be happy right now.
I fear living a life where I could have accomplished something and didn't. That's what I fear. I don't fear death.
You don't fear the unknown?
I love the unknown. I love it. You know what I want on my tombstone? On my tombstone, a quote from Horace Mann, the great educator. Be ashamed to die until you have scored some victory for humanity.
Here's the truth. This is the reality, okay? Nobody's going to believe in you until you've already done it. Nobody's going to come and celebrate with you until you've already done it, all right? The work is going to come before the belief, which means you're going to have to work for a long time by yourself with no applause, with no awards, with nobody telling you good job, no one's going to believe in you in the beginning, nor should they. Be okay with that.
They say an alligator is so ferocious it'll kill a lion, but I can kill an alligator with my bare hands. Little old E.T., how? They say when you want to kill an alligator, you kill it right after it eats. Because right after it eats, it gets satisfied. And it goes to a state like it's almost paralyzed. Some of y'all in this room, are you paralyzed? You had a little success? You've done what nobody else in your family has done, and now you chilling? Come on, you ain't hungry no more? Next hunting, I need you to stay focused. Why? You should still be hungry.
Do you have any regrets?
No. Don't have time to regret. We move on because we are acceptable for what we are, not what we think we should be. I'm accepted in myself by what I am, but not as I think I should be, because that's a lie. I'm a sinner. I'm an old sinner. I've done some bad things. I've done some good things. So, you just forgive yourself and move on.
One of the main reasons that people don't get what they want is because they don't actually figure out what it is. And the probability that you're going to get what would be good for you, let's say, which would even be better than what you want, right? Because, you might be wrong about what you want easily. But maybe you could get what would really be good for you. Imagine that you were taking care of yourself like you were someone you actually cared for. And then you thought, okay, I'm caring for this person. I would like things to go as well for them as possible. What would their life have to be like in order for that to be the case?
We all have varying degrees of loss and sadness and pain in our lives, and it's a necessity, honestly, because then how would we appreciate the good times and the hopeful times and all of the abundance that life has if you go and grab it. But it's a personal choice to get up and move on and be better.
How willing are you to listen to that inner voice that no one else can hear? That little scurvy elephant in there that says, you're not the boss of me. You can't tell me what I'm here for. You have to, it takes a kind of fearlessness, because fear is such an omnipresent force in our lives. I do what I do because of the passion I feel. I am not here because of what you paid me to be here for. I am not here because of any need that I have to sell another book. I am not here for anything external to myself. I am here because I have a passion within me.
Life's about self-discipline. It is about self-discipline. We tend to do the things that are easy. And that is it builds no mental toughness. It builds no mental hardening. It builds nothing. When you work out, working out is where you can build that the fastest. Because it's a constant, it gives you instant feedback. You may not lose the weight you want to real fast, but the discipline it takes, it transfers over to all aspects of your life. It's not, people, man, why are you always working out? Stop looking at it that way. This is the foundation of life.
No matter what you face, no matter how bad it is going to be, when there is a challenge, anything that you're facing, the only way to overcome the challenges that you face is to start walking. Take that step every day, no matter what you are facing. Get up and start walking.
You have to make a decision what's important to you. Time to go out and do whatever, be whoever you are, help whoever you want to help, raise your family, whatever it is, or do you want to create a world-class company? What is your goal? And you have to understand your goals, and there should always be a price. If it is about selling at some point, what's the price? What is it that causes you to work 24 hours a day? What is it that causes you to dream about this company? What is it that gets you so fired up you can't think about anything else? What is it just that you just say, this is me, right? I am, what is it that drives you?
If you can't go through this pain period, you make it to be a champion. If you can't go through, forget it. And that's what most people lack, isn't this having the guts to go in and just say, I go through and I don't care what happens. It aches, and if I fall down, I have no fear of fainting in the gym, because I know it could happen. I threw up many times while I was working out, but it doesn't matter. because it's all worth it.
For me, money is not my definition of success. Inspiring people is a definition of success. Doing things to the maximum. I want to change the definition of status quo. And that's what I want. I want my shoes. I want as many people to be able to have them as possible. Because in 100 years from now, everyone in this room will be dead. And what did you do while you were here?
It's easy to embrace hopelessness when things seem insurmountable. And yet, it's actually just a matter of time until all of the elements come together for things to be all right. I mean, I believe that, most difficult situations will resolve themselves if you are persistent and if you don't give up entirely. And that's what I never did. I never gave up.
Man, you just gotta stay real to yourself. Don't ever try and follow the trends. That's when you get lost in the sauce, man. You gotta do what you feel, man, and be creative, and don't be scared to be yourself, and always keep that faith. I've been in the darkest times of my life, man, where I didn't know what was gonna happen, or was flat broke. Anything you could think of, man, I done been through it, and you gotta be strong enough to make it through, and it just makes it that much sweeter when everything starts going right. You appreciate it way more, man, so yeah.
My uncle always told me something early in my life which stuck with me, which is that while you're on the journey, you have to disconnect from the end goal. Because if you're just focused on some end goal, then you might get there, but it'll be hard to progress past that because you're so focused on that one destination that it's like, you maybe forget everything in between, and maybe you could have done more in between. He always told me, just be here right now, live right now, and do the best you can right now. Don't worry about what that end goal is. It's great to have goals, it's great to have dreams, but it's just like you get too attached to it, and sometimes it could be a self-destructive thing. So, I just kind of try and progress as much as I can, right now.
Well, it's dedication and hard work. This is my words, to dedicate myself 100% every time to be the position that I am today. It's not 1 year, it's 10 years, 12 years, to maintain my level. It's making me feel proud. You have to dedicate yourself 100%. It doesn't mean how many hours you're training, but the way you're training, your dedication. You can have a training only 1 hour, but you give everything for that to achieve your goals. So this is what I try to do. This is making me feel proud, and I will continue to work hard to maintain that level.
You really have to be very, very, very stingy with your time. Don't waste it on people that aren't like-minded. Don't waste it doing things that are not part of your dream plan. Don't waste time being bitter, which I know I've been argumentative. I understand the meaning of hate, because in the end, it just wastes your most valuable asset, time.
You have to work on yourself, and you have to have an unstoppable attitude, and no excuse is acceptable, and you've got to make it a priority, a non-negotiable in your life, and hold a constant vision of what it is you want to achieve. See it accomplished and go all out. Find a way to win. In spite of the setbacks, in spite of the disappointments, in spite of your failures.
It's easy to romanticize hard work, but the reality of hard work is that it is what it is, and it sucks, and it's nonstop. There is no off switch. I don't need to work hard. We could leave expensive New York City and move somewhere more cost effective, and I can do nothing but watch TV for the rest of my life, and I can say that at age 37, and that's a huge privilege. But instead I work 20 hours a day because I love every second of it.
I think the greatest of people that have ever been in society, they were never versions of someone else. They were themselves. You don't think about Michael Jordan, the basketball player, and say, oh, he was just like this other player. No. You don't even say he was like this player plus that player divided by 2 plus this. No. He's Michael Jordan. I think the greatest of people in society carved niches that represented the unique expression of their combinations of talents.
You ain't never gave 100%. And in order to knock on the door 100 times, you're going to have to get 120. Get up out of here. You can't do this. And you're going to have to fight and fight and fight and fight. And most of you won't be successful, not because you can't do it, but you can't outlast your old you long enough to get to your new.
Knowing what it is about you that is infectious and being able to convey that to people as soon as you meet them is so important. Being memorable and making an impact is so important. You know, that's true for so many different lines of work, and not just like as an actor, but you have to do things to stand out. You can't play by the rules. And I think that, yeah, just knowing that you're good enough and making sure that you stay on that path to be that person.
These are words to remember when anyone tries to tell you to give up, tell you to give in, because whatever you're trying to do is impossible. Impossible is just a word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. I'm here to say you will make mistakes along the way. You will fall down. I have, many times. But what we do after that fall is how we make history. Because impossible is nothing.
You should never, ever be embarrassed by those struggles. You should never view your challenges as a disadvantage. Instead, it's important for you to understand that your experience facing and overcoming adversity is actually one of your biggest advantages.
They get comfortable with a win. People can get comfortable with a win, and slack off then. Slack off on the training. Slack off on the diet. They've won one. They're winners now. That's not me. You know, you sleep on a win and you'll wake up with a loss. So I just carry on.
As a child, my parents always told me you could be whatever you want to be. You could do whatever you want to do. And, you know, that office, that position, the highest office on the face of the earth, it was something I heard my parents saying it, but I didn't totally believe it. Yet I went out in the world and I carried myself and I held my head high and I stood there and I looked people in their eyes and I talked to people as if I was deserving of everything that this planet has to offer. To children out there and to people who are watching, Confucius said one time, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right.
Stephen Curry will go down in history as the greatest shooter that the NBA has ever seen. And it's not by accident, and it's not by luck, and it's not because his dad played in the NBA. It's because he's willing to hold himself to an unparalleled standard. And that is the thought that I'll leave you all with, that the standards that you set today, they'll determine who and where you'll be tomorrow.
My hero, that's who I chase. Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, who's your hero? And I said, I don't know, I got to think about that. Give me a couple of weeks. I come back 2 weeks later. This person comes up and says, who's your hero? I said, I thought about it. You know who it is? I said, it's me in 10 years. So I turned 25 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, so are you a hero? And I was like, not even close. No. She said, why? I said, because my hero is me at 35. So you see, every day, every week, every month, and every year of my life, my hero's always 10 years away. I'm never going to be my hero. I'm not going to attain that. I know I'm not. And that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep.
Protected. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
I have an insane belief in my own ability to manifest things. Insane belief. You know, that I think it's ultimately complete sanity. But I believe we're creators, and I believe we create with every thought and every word. Every moment is pregnant with the next moment of your life.
Knowledge isn't power, it's potential power. And it's only powerful when it's applied, as you've said. I actually think the separator for people who apply and don't apply is ego. I really think I don't know everything. Ego is fear. Ego applies itself in lots of different ways, but probably the fact that you're not applying what you're learning is ego related in some way.
It's just a matter of what's important to you. And what's important to you. For whatever reason, you know, I felt like I didn't feel good about myself if I wasn't doing everything I could
to be the best version of myself. If I felt like I left anything on the table, it would eat away at me. I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror. Right? So the reason why I can retire now and be completely comfortable about it, because I know that I've done everything I could to be the best basketball player I could be. And so that's where it comes from for me. You can't leave any stone unturned.
When you're comfortable, you are at most danger. The comfort zone is somewhere you should never feel comfortable. You should be happy and dissatisfied. Anybody ever tell you, hey, look, you know what? Just be satisfied with what you got. Don't believe them. Get them away from you. You should never be satisfied with what you got. Because the attempt to get more makes you into something better all the time.
Here's what I've learned, though. I think the people that have made those mistakes and that have went through those crazy changes within this business are people that have put themselves in a position to not grow. I think you go through it at one point, but then you go, oh, this is bad. I messed up one time. I don't want to mess up again. I went through my period. I got my DUI. I was out. I was drunk every night. I was chasing different women every day of the week. I did that. I saw that it got me nowhere, and then I got focused, and I saw where getting focused got me. So why go backwards? You're supposed to progress. You're not supposed to digress. The man that I am today is a much more developed man than I was yesterday, and I just don't see myself wanting to ever lose that. I want to continue to be a dope example for where people can look at it and go, wow, look where he came from, look at where he is now. I got too many goals.
You are unusually fearless and willing to go in the face of other people telling you something is crazy.
Well, first of all, I'd say I actually think I feel fear quite strongly. So it's not as though I just have the absence of fear. I feel it quite strongly. But there are just times when something is important enough, you believe in it enough that you do it in spite of the fear.
You need to be clear what it is you really want. I always tell people, know not only what you want, but why you want it. I know this is simplistic, but most people just don't do the blocking and tackling of their life. The one we were talking to earlier, a great lady, and you could just see she wants to have a new business, but she never sat down to even put a plan together and says, why aren't I taking action? Well, when you're not sure what you're going to do, you're going to hesitate. And hesitation kills momentum. And momentum is what makes a sports team win. It's what makes an athlete, a business person win. When you get momentum, it's like takes enormous energy to get a rocket out of our gravitational pull of the earth. But out of the solar system is easy. Once it has momentum, it takes less fuel, less energy. Starting a relationship, starting a business, changing your body, it takes so much in the beginning. But once you get going, it's actually really easy.
When you see the famous people, wow, so successful, you don't know behind the story, how tough they are. Like people, wow, Jackie, the move is so good. When everybody sleep, I still in the health club, in the mirror, practicing. 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, get up on the set. Then you suddenly do something, wow, very beautiful. Oh yeah, go back, training again.
Every single human being has value, and my value is not determined on how I look or what job I have or where I'm from, where I was born, how much money, all that stuff is nothing. So many teenagers, tease each other for how we look, and I tell the teenagers, do you think that I'm cool enough to be your friend? They're like, yeah, of course. I said, but I have no arms, no legs. They said, doesn't matter. I said, really? So it doesn't matter that I have no arms, no legs? He said, no, it doesn't matter. I said, then actually, if it doesn't matter, then why do we kill each other with our words if it actually doesn't matter? Why do we look ourselves in the mirror and see ugly instead of valuable? I want to ask you today, what are you looking for?
After the season, usually there's a time period where Michael takes some time off. The night they lost to Orlando, I said, Michael, I'm about to get out of here. Let me know when you want me to see you, because I'll see you tomorrow. Michael had an obligation to himself, the fans, his teammates, the organization, his family, everybody. He said, if you're gonna sit down and take 3 hours out of your day to watch me on TV, I have an obligation to give you my best. To give you my best all the time.
I just want to make a lot of money and tell people money is not everything for this life. First, you want to make a lot of money, though, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you're going to get judged anyway. So why live for that being a metric of success or failure? Why let the judgment or opinions of others be the reason why you share or you don't? Because guess what? If that person's not paying your bills, if that person's not saving your life, if that person's not giving you coaching, mentorship, and spiritual growth, why does their opinion matter?
Right.
And that's how I've kind of found it in my life to move beyond judgment.
What I realized about myself was, the reason I won and I'm good is I've never played in the vortex. I've never played in the actual rules of life. I was an F student when every immigrant was supposed to be an A student because education was the way out. I launched an e-commerce wine business in 1996. Like, I've always done things that don't make sense. I play outside of the actual game, and that has been where all my happiness has come from. And so many things have become obvious to me by playing outside of the rules.
Love is passion, obsession, someone you can't live without. Fall head over heels, find someone you can love like crazy and who'll love you the same way back. Because the truth is, there's no sense living your life without this. To make the journey and not fall deeply in love, well, you haven't lived a life at all. But you have to try, because if you haven't tried, you haven't lived.
Take a negative and turn it into a positive. Don't be afraid to fail. People don't see that, and people will never understand that. To be success, all they think about, well, he batted 202, and he struck out a certain number of times. Yeah, okay. But the effort was there, and the learning curve and the passion was there that has transcended not just to me, but to other people who are afraid to do things because they're worried about the perception that may come from other places. To me, that's more gratifying than anything.
Stop being driven by rewards. Stop being driven by outcomes. Stop being driven by, if I get this, I'm gonna do this. Just work. And if you don't get what you thought you were gonna get, show up and still go to work. Because along the process, what's more important, what you acquire or who you become?
I wrote myself a check for $10 million. For acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995, and I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff, and but then just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on, I think it was Dumb and Dumber. Maybe.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah.
It's good to treat other people the way you would like to be treated yourself. It's like a golden rule, and there's a reason for it. And that reason is that we're connected in some strange way that we don't totally understand. And unless you are good to other people around you, unless you're kind and friendly and warm and loving, you're not going to enjoy this life. You're just not. You're going to be problems everywhere you go. You're going to have problems everywhere you go. You got to figure out a way to enjoy this life.
Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. When someone tells me it's impossible, I always just look at them. Anybody around me knows that they can't do that. So that's part of it. But if they didn't know me, it's your opinion. And they'll say, no, science shows. And I say, yeah, and how many times has science showed something's impossible? Now science shows it's possible. Things are impossible till somebody does it.
I just had a dream to become something. That's the thing about dreaming. Just 8 years ago, I was crossing the Mediterranean to make it from Africa to Europe. Then I was homeless in Paris, sleeping in the street. If you believe in yourself, you can be your own hero or hero to somebody else. Keep dreaming, keep fighting.
I heard Jeff Bezos say one time when he was talking, he said he makes his investment based on if it's going to change people's lives. And once I started doing that strategy, I think I probably quadrupled what I'm worth now.
There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams.
A lot of people out there chasing their dream, but their dream is to just be rich, and that's not a dream. If you try to go out and make money for the purpose of making money, first of all, you could end up in the wrong place due to it. You could be miserable, and then when you get it, if you don't have no goal on why you were trying to achieve this goal, you feel unfulfilled.
I think we've been hypnotized and conditioned into becoming materialists. I think that we define reality with our senses, and I think that is one of the biggest delusions. So the fundamental question is, can you believe in a future that you can't see or experience with your senses yet, but you've thought about enough times in your mind that your brain is literally changed to look like the event has already occurred? You no longer have to go anywhere to get it. Now it begins to come to you. You become the vortex or the magnet to your destiny.
Our nose is located right above our mouth. Suppose you don't brush your teeth for 3 days. Though this nose is right here, it won't tell you you have not brushed your teeth. The whole room will know you have not brushed your teeth, but you will not know. This is the human predicament. It's very easy to see what's wrong with this guy, what's wrong with her, what's wrong with her. It takes a lot of observation to see what's wrong with this. That level of keenness of observation is missing in most people.